We are back, everybody. This is the second podcast we're recording to have you guys covered due to Thanksgiving. We thought ahead. Now, one thing I do want to know, I said last time I was going to go get comments and everything so we could get through them, but it turns out we actually had 2 full shows technically and bonus members topics. So I am holding and sitting on a bunch of that stuff where we might just do it for the holidays, go through a bunch of that stuff. But before we get to the actual proper show, as always, I am Armin. You guys can find me here at the Linktree. Active on Blue Sky, the Instagrams, although it will take me approximately 3 years to reply to you if you message me, so be warned of that. I do my best, but if it's not in like the top 3, so depending on when you message me, it just gets sent to the bottom because I'm always like, I don't have time for all this. So just be warned, especially because my wife spams me with constant goddamn reels and TikToks and whatever. So
look at this. Look at this.
Yeah.
Right,
she says, did you see the video I sent? I'm like, from work today, you sent me 17 videos. No, I didn't. I watched one. Like, what do you want me to do? But I am, as always, joined by Tristan.
Yep. I have Linktree, have a whole bunch of stuff. I am on Blue Sky, trying to get more involved. I've been sick for close to a week, getting over that. Trying to get back into things. Yeah, you can message me or give me questions or stuff. I'll answer it just as best I can at this particular point. I'm still working on some other stuff. Don't have video particular, though. I do have to wonder people's concentration, how they can handle like information, because again, YouTube Short for some reason did extremely well for whatever reason, and I'm losing my faith in people having long attention spans.
Yeah. Yep. I mean,
well, there's that one. Yeah, the reason why is because I did get a comment in one of I think it's the TMNT 3 short review. The comment was, this was. I think this is connected to The Last Ronin. I'm like, no, this is a different, I guess a different universe version of the Turtles by IDW by Jason Aaron. It's technically connected to the multiverse, but it's not connected. Like, it's a continuation of that story.
Yeah, The Last Ronin is a continuation of like the OG comics, technically.
Yeah. That's why I had to say technically no. This is a new iteration of the Turtles by Jason Aaron, which is a very, very good. I still have to read the second companion comic to that whole series.
I
think it's Mutation Nation, and I think that's what it's called.
I got through the normal Last Ronin. I'm like, I'm done because they're already milking that thing for way more than it's worth. It's like,
yeah, they're doing it again with this new one. They have the main series, and they have was it the Night Threat? It was a Night Watcher. They have that one.
Oh yeah.
With I think it's Jakia. I think that's what who the new Night Watcher is, and then they have Mutation Nation as a complementary one, and that one has and that one has some characters in that I need to actually read. But the main one, it's pretty good. That's as much as I have so far from being sick, but I'm gonna try and get some stuff out during this. So,
there we go, everybody. So stay tuned, check out the channel, and then we'll update you guys with more. But for now, let's jump on to our first topic, Tristan. Spider-Man Beyond the Spider-Verse. So we got an update on this film, and not technically officially, but somewhat officially. So Sony's only update was, we're still working on it. Now, the big update is coming at us from the big trades. Essentially, when they decided to scrap the entire third act of the last film, remove a character, make Miles an evil version of Prowler and all that, that was all 11th hour, like 9 to 10 weeks out from release. That affected every single plot line in Beyond the Spider-Verse because the film wasn't about that. So they had to go back in, remove the other characters that were removed, like the giant spider robot character and whatever. And they essentially had to start over from the beginning on Beyond the Spider-Verse.
I believe it, because like when you see some of the stuff that was in like pre-production or in production and
Hmm.
not entirely finished, it's like a completely different movie with some of the characters. And now you understand why certain characters
Yeah.
um were in promotional material and and like toys and stuff, but they didn't
Right.
show up at
I
all, or they
mean,
barely showed
remember
up.
this film was due 6 months after Across the Spider-Verse. They were
Yeah,
set to do a rapid release, and it was like,
yeah,
well, first Spider-Verse got
yeah,
delayed or Across the
yeah.
Spider-Verse, and then they're like, it's gonna be a year. No.
Yeah, especially with like them not agreeing on like the definitive version of
Yeah.
a scene or an act. So I once I saw this, I was like, yeah, I can believe all this because people were like really excited because of what was happening in Chelsea, New York, a couple days ago because they saw that Sony themselves were had an advertisement or going to have an advertisement before either Beyond the Spider-Verse or just the IP in
Hmm.
general with the gigantic light that's
Yeah.
there. And there's all, oh, we're gonna get some like synopsis or press release that no, it was for their TV brand
And
that
like
was just
it made sense why everybody jumped on it. It's just like, hey, Kraven is coming right around the corner. Don't
yeah,
you want to attach your new Spider-Verse trailer to us? Everybody was
yeah,
hyped. They're like, it's a new QLED TV. You're like,
yeah. And that whole you think that is because once that happened, people were asking people who live in the area to go around and start asking the employees and stuff like what is this.
hmm.
And like there's some reports because they did it at like right around like 12:30, 12 a.m.
Hmm.
And they're saying, well, the employees went home and there's really nothing, but here's the picture. It is here. It is like there is something.
Yeah.
And then in the morning it comes out that yeah, this is not for the movie. It's just for our TV brand that we're gonna be probably having some sales for the holidays. And
Yeah.
everyone's like, damn.
Yep.
But yeah, I believe that like all these shakeups for these movies because um like 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 was said originally, like it wasn't supposed to be like a cliffhanger for the
Yeah.
second movie in the first place. And like a lot of this stuff has been rearranged and is continuing to be rearranged because like for whatever reason they can't have a straight on vision because either something different comes along or something better comes along and they want that instead. And then that's how we have like I don't know, like what, like 25 different versions of a particular movie because there's
Right.
different things and different gags and other things that have been put into this. And then it's like on one end it's like pretty interesting. On the other end, that you feel sorry for for the animators having to go and redo scenes over and over again because they can't come to an agreement on like what is the definitive scene.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. It's really tough because like the last film was huge. Like
Yeah,
that film's opening was huge. There was so much fanfare and people were excited because it's like it ends on this cliffhanger. You're like,
yeah,
okay, so we're gonna get the continuation of this soon, right? And then you're like, a couple years is going by. Miles is already, in another big profile video game.
yeah,
Like, you really just got to think about what their decision making here was and what exactly were the problems with the previous iteration of the film that they were committed to and it was going to release so soon. Then they're like, actually, no. Like, what happened?
and and that just kicked my mind into gear. You mentioned video games, the Marvel Spider-Man 2 and Across the Spider-Verse were supposed to be connected with the scene, and they canceled that
Yeah,
very early into the scene. So when it comes to the video game, you don't know the context between this whole thing because they cut the scene from the little inn that they had in there for spiders and villains and stuff like that.
uh huh. Yeah, it's
Because
just like
because the for people who don't understand or don't know the context, there is going to be a scene with the spot where he goes to this bar. It's a information bar where either villains or technically sometimes heroes go to that bar. The whole scene is that the villains that go to that bar make fun of Spot because he looks stupid. And um and after Spot's emergence as getting the confidence to using his powers and becoming, like a multi universal threat,
Hmm.
goes back to the bar, beats up everyone there, and then leaves. And you find out who is the bartender and all that, and that she technically is the connection to the video game
Right.
and the movie, and that technically would have led into the DLC that is no longer coming for the video game.
Right.
So yeah, it's a lot of stuff that
And
just got canned.
exactly, like so much stuff, especially with Miles, just disappeared. And
Mm.
I'm like, I wonder like what the thought process here was, like because
Although
that's a lot of money and
yeah,
R&D to scrap as well.
yeah,
Like,
the obvious thought process for if everything did come to fruition is that you'd have some cross pollination between the movies and the video game. People would want to go continue story to see what happens, or why the video game is connected to the movie.
right,
Obviously because of the multiverse, and then they would have the potential DLC to continue it, and then at that particular point in time before it got canned, which was the canned multiplayer games of service game
right, yeah.
that would play
That's
into it as well, where people was like, hey, I can play these different versions of the base set of these spiders. I can make my own spider, and I can potentially go on adventures with friends and stuff,
right.
and using the gameplay mechanics of Marvel Spider-Man 2, which would be pretty cool. But in essence, as you get down to it, it's just not feasible if your development team is not continuing making content just for that particular thing, which is it's a sad thing, but it just goes to show like how they tried to connect this with the games, and
Mhm.
it like
Like, that
it's
was
not it
also
wasn't there.
rumored, like, Beyond the Spider-Verse was, I guess,
Yeah,
supposed to feature a lot more of, Insomniac's the whole connection, especially with
yeah,
Miles and what they were doing with the games, and suddenly
yeah,
you're like, "No." It just
yeah.
it doesn't exist. You're like,
Yeah,
"Oh,
yeah.
okay."
It's just like they pour all this money into it, and then finally it's like people were crunching the numbers. Is like, yeah, unless like you're doing this like full time, this is not feasible. So
Right.
it's either you go down swinging, or you pack it up and you just
Yeah.
keep moving. And that's what I guess it was. They
Uh,
just pulled the plug on this stuff, which is it's a bad. It's sad that it's not coming, but you can understand. And like the only thing you can hope is to have a good product for
mhm.
the final version of this movie, which hopefully it does come to fruition and it doesn't go through like two or three more rewrites.
Hopefully. So, obviously, when we know more, guys, we will be back, so stay tuned, but that was just a little bit more on the, Spider-Verse talk. Now, let's talk a little bit more about not multiverse jumping, but straight up being canon. As we got a brand new report recently that all the defenders are returning, like all of them, same actors and everything. So
This is potentially a good or a bad thing. Well,
yeah,
mostly on the Iron Fist end. So yeah, um, hopefully they ignore the ending, because like I don't know why you'd want Danny Rand running around with guns, or golden guns, I guess,
right.
just 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 shooting up the place.
Like I get
Um,
it, they did that in the comics, but that's more of an Orson Randall thing, not a
yeah,
Iron Fist like Danny thing.
yeah,
So even though he's toyed around with the ideas, it's not like very prominent. And I think Iron Fist is
yeah,
going to get a complete revamp. Like you're not even going to recognize it as the same character. They're going to go
yeah,
completely different. He's going to get the suit.
mm,
He's going to have the powers. He's going to actually have a proper mask and everything. Like you got to get away from that version.
yeah, yeah. It's like I just for the defenders, it's just like it's like I don't know how they would like introduce it, because most people for better or for worse, for the defenders, they technically know it from like Iron Fist and Luke Cage
Hmm.
primarily, where like they're technically the ones that set it up. and that
Right.
you see like Daredevil and all this other stuff. So if they're gonna bring them back, I wonder like how are they gonna do it this time, or if they're gonna ever reference the last time that they were together. So
Remember that giant hole in the middle of New York City that nobody's talked about? Yeah, that was a thing. And
yeah,
also a giant school filled with red ninjas in the middle of New York in like a playground. They're just
yeah.
there they are.
And it was like, well, why didn't you help? And I was like, well, I didn't get paid for it.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna stick my neck out for something because that's something Luke Cage would do. He's like, well, unless it comes to my neighborhood, I'm not gonna be bothered too much about it.
That's I think pretty much how they're gonna explain where he was, being like, hey, why didn't you help us when the aliens invaded? He's like, you're like 10 blocks that way, and also it's not in Harlem, so I don't care.
Yeah,
It's like, all right.
I
Danny,
know.
where were you? In Asia? Random place, pick one, it's sure,
Yeah,
whatever. Maybe he went to Madripoor. There you go. Make that connection.
probably.
He went to Madripoor.
Probably. It's like because for me it's like I just want the characters to be like in essence be who they are or who they would be interacting with each other and not
Hmm.
trying to be an adaptation of those characters in a world where you had some pretty good iterations of some other characters interacting with each other. And in this current world of 616, it's getting to the point to where it's on the verge of being the same as the comics, to where
Yeah,
if
yeah.
you're in New York, pretty much almost nothing bothers you at this particular time. Oh, you see some mole monsters running around. Okay, as long as I'm out of this area,
Right.
I can film with whatever I can film and take pictures of whatever superheroes right there, and then Loki's coming in with some frost giants. As long as I don't piss him off, he ain't gonna do nothing to me. So
Right,
I
yeah.
can just keep it walking.
I like the idea that in this ongoing universe we got now, all these characters are returning. But you know who's not returning? And you're not here to defend them, Mitch? The Eternals! Where are you at, Mitch and Ricardo? Where are you at?
It's just like because we already like we'll talk about I don't know if it's in a member's topic, but we'll talk about like the whole plan for the future of the MCU
Oh yeah.
and why it's not Eternals or Inhumans anymore.
Yeah, we're
So
going to talk about that in the main discussion, but also part of a bonus topic, which,
yeah, so
if you look at this whole thing that I'm trying to see here, the bigger picture, we're getting to the point where the MCU is so stuffed that the writers are going to have a hard time, and you're getting to the point where you're like, hold up, now it's actually valid. Remember when, like, Iron Man 3 hit? People are
yeah.
like, well, why doesn't Tony Stark just show up? Now you're literally like, if something happens in New York,
Yeah.
why isn't half the MCU showing up? Like,
Well, the obvious reason, or if for the comic reason, is because everyone assumes that another superhero is going to deal with it, and then
yep.
when they don't deal with it, they're like, "Oh, my bad."
And the real reason, money.
Yeah, it's like because they have that. It's like the real reason is money, but the in universe reason and the comic reason for it, which is pretty funny, is that since there's so many superheroes in New York City, they assume that some other superhero will get to it
Yeah.
eventually, and most oftentimes it doesn't happen. It's usually saying, "Oh,
I
that's my bad."
can't remember what event it was in like the last few years where there's a giant, like, monsters are attacking New York City. And in one of the issues, Spider-Man literally swings by. He goes, I got my own issues to deal with. And then you see it from his point
Yeah,
of view. He's like, sorry, guys, you can't help me with my situation either. I was like, okay, that's pretty funny. So, like, they're
yeah,
going to have to get to that point where Spider-Man's like, I got to fight the Sinister Six. I'm sorry, I can't help with this. And they're just like, all right, Peter, you go possibly die. It's cool. Like,
yeah.
sure.
That's what it is sometimes, and it is pretty funny when that happens to where it's like, well, I would love to help, but I have this other pressing situation, probably world ending status to deal with right now, and I just can't do that. You'd have some other heroes come with you, and because it gets to the point to where um you can see some writers do explain on this to where how some certain heroes are more favorably received than others
Right.
because they get to those problems more than some
See,
other heroes.
that's what they're gonna do with Daredevil, right? Bringing in the
Yeah.
Defenders. They're gonna be like, where were you during the battle of the Endgame battle and Infinity War? And he's gonna be like, so I live 3 blocks that way, and it takes me 48 minutes to jump across these buildings. By the time I got there, you guys were gone, and then I
Yeah.
got punched in the rib, and well, I'm laid out for 3
Yeah.
weeks per
Yeah. Yeah.
Daredevil canon. So
Yeah, because essentially it's like I'm not Spider-Man. I can't get here in like 10 minutes.
right, like they got a way to explain all this, which is fine. I'm excited to see what the Defenders do when they show
Yeah.
back up. I'm just hoping that go more comic accurate. And yes, I am saying Jessica Jones gets the jewel suit. I don't care. I don't care.
I mean, is there still is why is this so like I know the the pretense is behind the suit. It's just like they don't want her wearing it at all.
That was apparently always the thing, but that was more Marvel TV. And Kevin Feige's
Yeah.
gonna be like, boy, you guys. The whole reason we got the Jessica Jones we did is because
Yeah.
she's more TV friendly.
Yeah.
But with a bigger budget, you can make her fly and leap more and have
Yeah.
super strength, which she does, but they barely show it. So it's like,
Yeah.
I think the MCU will do it.
Yeah. Yeah, they would. So
So, yeah. Anything else before we get to our main topic?
no, not much from defenders side. I just hope that they can get them I guess more comic adapty
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
for what they want to potentially use them in the future.
Agreed. 100% agreed. And then our final topic, Tristan teased this, so we're going to talk about
Yeah.
it. The big future of the X-Men and the mutants. So,
Yeah. I think it
oh
was
boy.
from what I saw, I think it was like in one of the I think it's one of the direct issue interviews with Kevin Feige.
Yeah. Kevin
And
Feige directly just tackles this.
yeah, where he basically says like after Secret Wars, the mutants are going to be a very prime focus going forward after the
I mean,
fact.
he just confirmed the mutant saga, which is what we
Yeah.
all have been calling it. It's
Yeah.
like, yeah.
Yeah, and so essentially, like for better or for worse, for other superpowered entities, namely the Inhumans and Eternals, like their time is done. They're going with the moneymakers at this particular moment, which sadly are mutants, and this is what they're just going full on with all type of mutants that they're gonna see what they can do because Hugh Jackman's still gonna be still be Wolverine forever. How long he can still play Wolverine, but
Right.
like the main team is gonna be a little bit different. So I'm really very very interested in what they're actually gonna be doing with some of the mutant topics and how they are going to shape the MCU in 616.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully, they don't like full on go on to the Mars era of mutants where you'll have Martian mutants.
No, we're not jumping that shark yet.
Yeah,
Not right
trying
off.
to
No.
trying to like Game of Thrones it and
Right.
control Earth's mutants and Earth in a way. So
I think, like, if you look at the bigger picture here with the mutants, they know that the mutants can carry them for another decade. So let's say another 3 phases. We're going to get probably a 3-year phase, a 4-year phase, and like another 3-ish year phase. And each one is going to be bookended, probably with a major Avengers and X-Men crossover. So you're going to have probably X-Men kicks it off, and then like X-Men Avengers Age of Apocalypse. You end it all with Days of Future Past in a decade where everybody is too old. And then that opens you up for a fresh reboot. Unlike Secret Wars, which is a small reset. That's how I would see them doing it. And then you also got a decade to flesh out some of these characters. Characters like, Iron Man and Captain America. They're all already going to be way older, so you're going to have to retire them. So I think you're kind of setting up the next decade of the MCU, but also a natural reboot point Because at that point, by the time this is all done, believe it or not, the MCU will be 30-ish years old. That's too much
Wow.
continuity, man. Like
That's
you're gonna,
wild.
you're gonna need a reboot. So like, we're coming up to 20 years in
Yeah.
like 2 years. Like that's, it's wild, but here we are. So like, I think they're placing the mutants in at the best opportune time before
Mhm.
we get another take on them. And what I like about it is apparently, or maybe I don't like it, we're gonna get them, but they're just gonna be multiversed in to the point where it's like after Secret Wars, they're like, oh yeah, they were here the entire time in
Oh.
this new continuity. So you're like, so the events of Age of Ultron happened. Like, yes. Did any mutants help?
No.
Maybe. It's going to be the James Gunn Peacemaker situation. It's like,
Yeah.
whatever I say is canon. Is canon. It's like,
So like maybe a few maybe helped like off screen maybe. It's like but yeah, they're gonna go that route with them basically with the new version of I guess 616 where mutants were always there. Um I mean it's fine. It's just that uh, how do it's that I would at least want if they're gonna do that, I would at least want something that is that they were there in a sense, be it that they were either a natural evolution, like how they
mm-hmm.
usually are, or it was an unnatural evolution, induced by making trying to make a super soldier serum or a better version of one, and
Right.
that some of those experiments for however they were induced this new evolution in humans
Yeah.
because what's weird, especially like in comics, a mutant is anyone naturally born with their powers,
Right.
meaning that if your parents or one parent had superpowers and they were given to them, they they aren't a mutant, but you potentially have the potential to be a mutant because you can be born with either a version of your parents' powers or
Mm-hmm.
some different mutation of those powers manifested in you, and there you go. Even though your parents are not mutants,
Right. Right.
you are a mutant. So
Exactly. So like they got a good in here. Obviously we already have mutants in the MCU. She-Hulk,
yeah,
multiple mutants appear. Miss
yeah,
Marvel's a mutant. Like, so it's not a new
yeah.
concept. It's just the handling of how they're
Yeah.
gonna do it. So that's what's
Well,
gonna be.
yeah, it's like hopefully they don't keep doing the guitar riff every time. He's like, "Who's this person? He might be a mutant."
Yeah. It's Kevin Feige can't help himself. I couldn't
Yeah,
believe that watching Miss Marvel. He's like,
yeah,
there's something wrong with your DNA. It's almost like a mutation. I
yeah.
was like, oh
Like,
my God, this is a Gotham moment if I've ever seen one. It's
yeah,
like,
it's like no one was gonna get that a small little wink and a nod, so they had to add that reference at the end. I was like,
oh,
no, no, please, no.
come on,
So
guys.
I just that's what I hope for. It's either they're always there and it's just a natural course.
Uh-huh.
Everyone has a potential to be a mutant, but some more than others, or that it was happening because of all the experimentations trying to make the unfortunate of trying to make human weapons because of things like the Avengers and that people finally are with the acknowledgement that they're not alone in the universe and that
Right.
there are aliens that either look like humans that are settling down on Earth or having a spaceport from Earth and they're traveling to and fro.
Yeah, 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 yeah. It's certainly going to be interesting to see just how this whole situation is dealt with because like the mutants are a big deal, obviously.
Mhm.
People are going to get on board with it and I just hope that whatever solution they come up with is good. Like, do you keep X-23? Probably. Do
Mhm.
you keep Channing Tatum's Gambit when he's already getting really old and how long can he do this? Like
Yeah.
I would love him to stay around, but I know if Mitch was here, he'd be having an aneurysm right now because he's wrong. Because Channing Tatum's perfect as Gambit.
He's okay as Gambit because like I know the whole gimmick of him is hamming it up so far as that you can't understand him.
Right. That's why they're
That's
gonna tell him
yeah.
to tone it down, and he's gonna be like, "Yeah, I got a dialect coach last time because of Deadpool's recommendation."
Yeah, because especially because even looking back and watching Deadpool, it's like I have to I have to focus on what he's actually
Oh
trying to
yeah,
say because it's like really hard.
it
But
is.
yeah, it's like if we had a different actor playing like a more serious Gambit, I'd be up for it. But if Channing Tatum wants to play Gambit, he can play Gambit. It's
He's
just
waited almost 20 years.
yeah.
Crazy.
But
Man.
yeah, that's what I want. And it's like though if they're gonna go with this mutant saga, if they don't go full on, you know, Mars, X-Men, I I guess the common consensus is that they would want Mr. Sinister to be one of the villains or one of the
Oh,
main
he's
villains
gotta
of
be
the arc.
first because Fox didn't
Yeah,
use him for 20 years. I think he's gonna be first, yeah. Him and Arcade
yeah,
make perfect sense, you know? Like,
yeah. So
yeah.
that's what I assume. That's what technically I would probably like best for first arc villain is Mr. Sinister, which you can set up a lot of stuff with him because he gets his hands into everything, even if you think he is dead. He'll come back because that was a clone.
Yep, exactly. And Sinister is just a villain that's evil. There's no redemption for him,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
that
yeah,
works.
yeah.
Mm.
He's just a villain to be evil Like I guess a sometimes was a courteous evil sometimes to
Yeah.
where like he will. He'll talk to you about your day while doing the evil deed. So
Sinister is the type of dude who sits down with Alex Jones and talks about how the great replacement theory is true. That's who Sinister is. You're just like,
yeah, he's like, "Oh, it is true. I'm the one doing it."
yep, exactly. So like, yeah, it's like Sinister. I think he'll be it. So again, we'll get back to more
Mhm.
X-Men soon enough, everybody. So hopefully you enjoyed that topic of discussion. So that has effectively brought us to the end of the show.
Mhm.
Obviously, if you guys forgot, we recorded 2 back to back. So we are going to be doing some members topics after this. We got
Yeah.
the Venom game, possibility of cancellation. We got Marvel Rivals, and Tristan and I break down all of that. Then we're going to talk about the future of Kang because there's been a development, and then we're going to talk about Lady Gaga as Dazzler. So hopefully you guys had a good couple of weeks that we haven't done this right away, right
Um,
when it's supposed to air.
yeah, and yeah, Ricardo probably fell asleep
Probably.
again.
Oh yeah.
Again.
Yeah, that's Ricardo. Um, so with all that in mind, everybody, thank you for joining us, and we will be back soon, and expect a couple more pre-recorded episodes as the holidays are coming. So we're gonna have you guys
Mhm.
covered with that. So stay tuned, and see you guys next time. Well, everybody, thank you for watching that video. And as always, you can like, subscribe, share, do whatever you will. Check out the recommended video that's popped up somewhere on the screen. And also, if you would like additional content, including more discussions and more unfiltered content, check out what we offer to the members section, which has new videos going up all the time.